theme of this interseasonal is the animes I actually like. No, that came out wrong. Like is a word people use to describe an ice cream they would prefer to eat. My feelings towards these animes are more of an eternal veneration, and one of the reasons I haven't went on a shooting spree at the nearest supermarket. And since what I actually consider a good anime is the eternal question that apparently keeps my correspondence up at night, and since it's about 3-4 weeks before the next wave of anime floods my apartment, I figured it was time to dribble out a few qualifying statements on the subject. So there's this person named Satoshi Kon. He's dead if I remember it properly, but while alive, he directed exactly 5 animes, all of which are usually regarded as pretty good at worst and masterpieces at best. And though I don't dislike the guy, not all of the works he made I consider to be good, and none of his works are coherent? Easy to explain. Case in point, Paranoia Agent, an anime that I utterly adore but I would never under any circumstances actually recommend to people. The story of Paranoia Agent is both easy and hard to explain. In Tokyo, there's a girl named Tsukiko Saki, a designer responsible for the local Hello Kitty knockoff that gets attacked by a mysterious boy with a crooked baseball bat, and the whole show is about 2 policemen trying to apprehend the bad boy and understand his motivation as his body count continues to grow and his attacks start to be more and more fatal. So, as you could probably imagine, it all ends with a duel between Raider Man and Bad Boy, total destruction of Tokyo, and Raider Man becoming old, going to the moon, and telling the viewers to watch the show again, but imagine it's different. The end. What I like about the show is how it manages to stay relatively understandable and coherent while utter nonsense is happening on the screen. It is a very Japanese story, where myth and reality blends together. The bad boy slowly gains urban legend status and distorts into more and more monstrous form, the borders between reality and imagination blurring into an unrecognizable mess. And also there's a story about an old man, a gay guy, and a girl trying to kill themselves that's actually a condom advert. The whole show feels like the story pretty much ends on episode 6-7, after which the director got bored and decided to waffle on about how living in Japanese society is actually horrible. People may even argue that it was the point from the very start, that Japanese society is horrible and they all want to escape. It's like a modern story from a modern author, but there's a bounty list in the end on every single person that the author hates. The graphics of the show are good, but to a modern audience they'll probably look dated. It's that style of early 2000-ish anime up to the animation frames that looks cheap but surprisingly effective at what it's trying to do. The music is memorable in the right places, like the opening, the ending, and the theme song used for Bad Boy, but it's not a very special soundtrack, and it doesn't have anything memorable besides that. Paranoia Agent still very resolutely sits on my top 5 animes of all time. It's a good anime to show when you want to explain how people can break under pressure and that our modern society is flawed. The first 7 episodes also count as an interesting paranormal detective story, yet I also can't sincerely recommend this to people, especially if they aren't used to the more esoteric side of Japanese animation. The animation looks cheap, the story is coherent but requires you to actually be vigilant of it, and ultimately it doesn't really feel good to watch. It is a very heavy anime, and it is very easy to just put it on pause and forget about it entirely, so I'd say it's definitely worth a look, at least, but don't look too hard or you'll see the stitches.